So what is the means test that you keep hearing about, and how does it affect you in bankruptcy? Check out our next video and find out. So the means test is actually a snapshot of your income and expenses 6 months before you file for bankruptcy. So not only are you showing what your current monthly income and expenses are, but you're also showing the court what was going on 6 months before. Now, it can be annoying because, of course, things can change very quickly. So sometimes you have clients that they were making a lot of money and then they may have lost their job, but the means test may be showing, the average may be showing that either they might not qualify for a Chapter 7 or they can do a Chapter 13, but maybe they're having to pay back more money. And so if that's a situation that comes up, as attorneys, we should be able to do an analysis and tell a client, hey, maybe you need to wait a little bit because then you'll pass the means test, or the means test will reflect that, you're not having to do such a high repayment plan in a 13. So the means test is very, very, very important. The good news is, for some folks, they don't even have to include some of their income in the means test. So for our clients that are receiving Social Security, guess what? You don't have to include that in the means test. Also, if the majority of your debt is non-consumer, you don't have to go through the means test, at least in regards to a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is great because we have some clients that they have a lot of student loans, they owe a lot of taxes, they had a failed business, and even though their normal monthly income, they completely qualify for a Chapter 7, the means test is killing them. It's something's coming up and they're not able to file. Well, the good news is if your debt, if your non-consumer debt and student loans and taxes are considered non-consumer debt, if that is higher than your consumer debt, which would be like credit cards, medical bills, mortgages, then you don't have to go through the means test. So there's lots of little nuances to the means test, which you want to make sure your attorney goes over with you. Sometimes people will call us and they're like, yeah, I called an attorney and they said, I don't qualify for this. And so the first question is, well, did you already go through the last 6 months of income and expenses? And they're like, no, they just put this in and this is what they told me. So you definitely want to meet with an attorney that's going to take the time to go over all of the different situations that are coming up. The other thing you want to remember about the means test is it's very important that whoever's in your household, you've got that reflected, because the more members that are in your household, you'll have better deductions or whatnot. So sometimes folks forget about, they might have their 18-year-old son or daughter in their house and they don't list them as a dependent because they're like, oh, well, they're already an adult and I just didn't list them. So you want to make sure that you do list them because that's someone that's in your household and you are eligible to use that for your household size. So again, just make sure that when you're contemplating bankruptcy that you get a really good understanding of the means test and what your means test is reflecting in terms of if you, number one, qualify for a bankruptcy, or I should say a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, or if you're looking at doing a Chapter 13 bankruptcy and maybe paying back a higher payment due to the means test. You want your attorney to go over, exactly what it is. One thing you do need to remember is when you're doing the means test, they're going to use something called, it's the IRS standard deductions, which they're never really great or practical in my opinion, but it is what it is. So we have to use those. If you are stating that your household uses more than what is allocated, you can use it, but you gotta believe you're gonna have to prove it. So you're gonna have receipts. Go back 6 months, you're gonna have to show that average is actually higher than the allocation. But there's lots of different ways that your attorney can assist you with the means test. So don't think you just, when you went online and put your numbers in, oh, I don't qualify. You may qualify. So don't let the means test scare you, but you do need to make sure you meet with an attorney to go through the nuances of it and that you understand what is available to you because of it. If you have any questions about the means test or any other topics related to bankruptcy, please feel free to contact us. Our information is below and we're happy to discuss.